Coming up on Valley News Live at 10, as the country waits for a COVID vaccine, one passes a critical milestone. More local businesses planning to follow suit and defy Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's orders. Plus, pressure mounting for Minnesota leaders to give people a lifeline in this pandemic. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
The first coronavirus vaccine in the country is on the verge of being approved for emergency use. A group of experts endorsed one made by Pfizer today. All that remains is for the FDA to sign off on it. Skylar Henry reports from Silver Spring, Maryland.
But also no data.
An FDA advisory panel voted Thursday to recommend an emergency use authorization for Pfizer's new coronavirus vaccine.
So we do have a favorable vote.
The final tally was 17 in favor, 4 opposed, and 1 abstaining. The FDA is expecting to follow the panel's guidance and has promised to act quickly. And it will trigger one of the biggest public health projects in U.S. history.
Within 24 to 48 hours from that advisory committee decision, we will actually have shots in arms.
Developing an effective vaccine in record time was a challenge. Delivering it may be an even bigger one.
We know we're going to get enough for everyone, but obviously we won't have enough for everyone on the very first shipment.
Pfizer is ramping up production to meet the demand for the vaccine. The federal government plans to supply it to states based on population. Hospitals and pharmacies are scrambling to prepare, installing special freezers needed to keep the medicine at 94 degrees below zero. The FDA's decision on the vaccine comes as the U.S. continues to set records in COVID-19 cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. Many experts have expressed hope that this will mark the beginning of the end of the pandemic.
I cannot roll up my sleeve fast enough to get this vaccination.
The FDA's vaccine panel will next weigh in on the one made by Moderna. It's also on track for public release by the end of the year. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Silver Spring, Maryland.
2 of today's no votes were from panel members concerned about giving the vaccine to 16 and 17-year-olds. One told the Washington Post he would have enthusiastically voted yes if the authorization had been restricted to those 18 and up. COVID-19 vaccine prep kits are now on the way to hospitals around the country with the help of the UPS. The boxes contain syringes, masks, and visors, sanitizer, a diluting agent that must be used to administer the vaccine, and vaccination record cards. This is the first shipment of a 3-step process. The second includes the actual vaccine and a final shipment of dry ice for sites that don't have the necessary super cold refrigeration.
I don't believe that the governor has the right to tell which businesses to be shut and which ones are essential and which ones are non-essential.
A grassroots campaign is spreading across Minnesota, encouraging bars and restaurants to defy the governor's order and open early. More than 100 businesses across the state have already agreed to reopen early, including some in our own backyard. Valley News Team's Devin Fry spoke to the leader of the campaign and has more for us tonight.
A group in Minnesota is urging businesses across the state to reopen, violating Governor Tim Walz's executive order in the process. The Reopen Minnesota Coalition has seen a resurgence since Governor Walz announced the 14-day shutdown to slow the spread of COVID-19. They're currently working with a growing number of bars, restaurants, and other businesses across Minnesota to open their doors once again.
All these places are shut down, unable to make any income right at the time when they really were expecting to be able to make some revenue back from all the losses. That was basically what got us going again in the last couple weeks.
The group reaches out to businesses across the state and works with them towards reopening. They even have a GoFundMe account set up to help cover legal expenses that the businesses may run into. At this point, they haven't run into any pushback at the state level, but they're prepared to stand together.
Push might come to shove, and we're going to have to just adjust to those situations on the ground as we go.
The Boardwalk Bar and Grill, which reopened yesterday for full dine-in services in East Grand Forks, is one of the many businesses working with the group. They've also confirmed that there are businesses in Clay and Otter Tail counties that will be joining them on that list, but they're keeping the names of those businesses a secret till their Phase 1 reopening on December 16th. This is to prevent any preventative action from the Attorney General.
We don't want him to be able to proactively undercut our efforts. He can react after the fact, and we welcome him to try.
The Reopen Minnesota Coalition feels that reopening early is going to be crucial for the survival of these businesses.
They need us to have their backs. It's not about overthrowing the government necessarily. It's more about saving and providing for people who are in desperate straits and don't have any other options left.
Reporting from Fargo, Devin Fry, Valley News Live.
Businesses who violate Governor Walz's order restricting dine-in services face a fine of up to $25,000. The pandemic is causing a drastic drop in students' grades across the valley. Several parents reached out to us saying that their straight-A students are now failing multiple classes due to online learning. The principal at Fargo North tells us that many families doing virtual academy are not on pace. Students normally get 3 credits a semester. Now only a third are on pace to earn those 3 credits. Andy Dolan says that they're looking at new alternatives next year for students who want to learn virtually.
He was failing 4 grades. Like science, he had a 35%.
From last year, we're at North, we're about 2.5 times more failures than we normally would have. If you look at a 5-year history, it's even more than that.
Data from West Fargo Public Schools shows that since last fall, there's been a 6% increase in students having at least 1 or more Fs. Parents are continuing to reach out to us about the struggles that they're facing, and you can email the address there on your screen to Callie Hubbard, Callie.Hubbard@GrayTV to share your story. An autopsy will be done to determine the exact cause of a woman's death whose body was found along the bank of the Cheyenne River in West Fargo this afternoon. The adult female was discovered between 13th Avenue West and 7th Avenue West.
Well, the weather obviously turned a little bit, but we were able to persevere through that. Given the nature of this incident and the way that everything unfolded, it's kind of difficult without having a last scene point.
The woman's name will not be released until family members are notified. And we want to remind you that the suicide hotline is always available. You can call 1-800-237-TALK. And the North Dakota University System reminds students of their partnership with the Help and Suicide Hotline, FirstLink, that can be used for after-hours assistance. According to administrators, by September, the service had logged nearly 700 texts and calls from the state's 11 public colleges and universities. They covered everything from students looking for information or referrals to crisis intervention. They say while the number of calls and texts have not increased, the level of support needed has.
There's a lot of loss, not to mention income instability, food insecurity, people losing their jobs, everything being turned upside down. So I think everybody is struggling on some level right now.
Keep in mind that FirstLink is free for all North Dakota colleges and universities. Those in need of assistance can reach out to their campus counseling center or call FirstLink at 211 or text them at 898-211. Minnesota is preparing for yet another special session this coming Monday. Lawmakers say they cannot wait for the federal government to step in with more help for businesses hit hard by the pandemic and shutdowns imposed in response to it. The proposal calls for the following: $100 million in direct relief for restaurants, bars, gyms, and similar businesses, $102 million for counties to distribute to local businesses, and $14 million for movie theaters and convention centers.
There is a different tone right now. So we need to get this out now and quickly. We need to get them open as quickly as we can, safely. And I think, again, our work with the Democrats, this was a good bipartisan effort.
Our goal is to protect people hardest hit by the pandemic first and not worry as much about what happens to people who are rich or well-connected or have been benefiting from the federal programs in the past.
House Democrats also want to extend unemployment benefits for 13 weeks to be used only if Congress doesn't extend federal benefits. But Senate Republicans would rather wait to see what Congress does before committing to that idea. Also on Monday, Governor Walz is expected to announce whether he's extending the latest round of shutdowns. Trying to get your hands on a Christmas tree might be tougher than you think. A nationwide tree shortage combined with high demand means fewer trees in the Fargo area. In fact, many places locally are already sold out for the season. While it's bad news for those searching for a tree, it's good news for local fundraising efforts.
A lot of times people travel over the holidays, and if they travel, I would assume they're less likely to buy a real tree. And also, I think there's something about Christmas. It's just sort of a merry holiday, and all of us need as much merriment as we can get.
Now, if you are still searching for a tree, that perfect tree, Baker Gift and Garden tells us that they have about 100 trees left. And we're hoping you'll help us help the Great Plains Food Bank. So far, our virtual food drive has raised more than $11,000. Unfortunately, that's only 30% of our goal. If you are willing to help, there are a number of ways, a number of items that you can purchase and donate right from your phone. Download our free VNL News app, look for the virtual food drive, and please click to donate. Still ahead tonight, lighting up the night sky. We're going to tell you who got the best view of the northern lights. But first, cooler today, and the temps are set to start falling even further. Hutch breaks down the weekend for us when Valley News Live at 10 returns.